So, there's a game idea that's been living in my head for a long time. And I'm not talking like a vague idea. I mean a world. Characters, a story, and gameplay mechanics that I have mentally redesigned at least a dozen times. And I have finally decided to stop just thinking about it and start building it. This is Ancelm, and this is Devlog 1. So quick intro before we dive in. My name is Phantom Dev or Hunter, and I am a lifelong gamer, esports player turned game developer. I've been a gamer my whole life, and at some point, my focus shifted from just playing games to completely dissecting them. Why games feel the way they feel, and why some stories land and others don't, and why combat mechanics can either make you feel like a god or kinda hollow. Ancelm is a game that I've been wanting to play, but I haven't been able to find it, so making it. I'm not going to pretend like I have it all figured out. Honestly, I'm working from an early prototype right now, but to me that's all the more reason to start this. I want to start the story from the beginning, and I mean the real beginning, because honestly, I just think that's the more interesting story. Okay, so what actually is this game? The easiest way I can put it is, imagine taking the best parts of 4 games that I think are genuinely perfect at what they do. Hollow Knight, Undertale, Celeste, and Breath of the Wild. From Hollow Knight and Celeste, the movement. That feeling where your character becomes an extension of your hands, where platforming isn't just from getting to point A to point B. Instead, it's precise, expressive, and it has weight to it. These 2 games make you feel like you've genuinely earned every inch of ground that you have taken. From Undertale, the heart. The wide range of genuinely enjoyable characters who drag you into this wonderful world with story and expression and music and all of these things that really tie you to the world. Where at the end of the day, the choices that you make aren't just changing some end slide screen. It's genuinely impactful, not just to the world, but to the player. And I want players to be able to stop and think about something that they have just done or want to do, rather than feeling like they have no genuine impact. And from Breath of the Wild, the world. That feeling of cresting a hill and seeing something that you want to go to and just going to it is one of my favorite feelings in any game. And it expresses this sense of freedom that is undescribable. It's a world so diverse and alive that exploration itself is the reward. Ancelm is going to try to be the intersection of all 4 of these things. The world of Ancelm is incredibly diverse. You'll end up in underwater cities with grand tech and some scholarly attitude. You'll end up in a lava-filled landscape full with giant stone creatures and some interesting technology as well. You'll end up in forest biomes with cat people and humans, or big mountains with bipedal bird folk. The core idea of Ancelm is to have every landscape be awe-inspiring and deep and interesting cultures to explore and learn about, all while dealing with something that just kept coming into my head while I was designing this world, and it's this idea of life being cyclical, of there being a history. I wanted a world that feels like it has history, like it's gonna be there long after you leave, and it was there long before you were there. And that's something that I think Hollow Knight does very well, and something I'm obsessed with doing right in Ancelm. What I'm borrowing from Undertale is the idea that characters you meet, even the ones you fight, have lives. They have things that they're afraid of, or things that they care about. And how you move through the world is going to mean something. I don't want the story to be something you read. I want it to be something that you piece together through the environment and the characters that you speak to and what you choose to do and what you choose not to do. Combat in Ancelm is meant to be fast and deliberate and punishing if you're sloppy. The Hollow Knight DNA shows up here pretty clearly. I want the combat to feel tight and readable and rewarding when you get good at it. But layered on top of that is this Undertale-ish question of, does everything have to die? Is there another way I could proceed through this section? I'm still working out on what exactly that looks like, but it's a thread I'm going to keep pulling on. And then there's the exploration side, the Breath of the Wild piece. I want the world to reward you for going off the beaten path. Hidden areas, or lore tucked in corners, or enemies that feel like they're part of the ecosystem and not just some obstacle in this hallway. So what does the game actually look like right now? Early prototype. Like, early prototype. As of right now, there's placeholder art everywhere. But the bones are there. I have a basic movement system, some interpolating cameras, all the bells and whistles that I would like to get with my movement system in place. And I'm looking on expanding upon the state machine to add NPCs soon. I'm building this in Unity, and I chose this because it's just the engine I have the most familiarity with. I'm intentionally keeping the scope tight right now, as what's really important for me is making this game expandable and easily developed with, rather than worrying about adding all of these features early on. One of the fastest ways to kill a solo dev project is scope creep, and I'm really worried about making the core feel good right now. I wanted to be honest about why I was putting this on YouTube. Part of it is accountability. There's something in the back of my head that feels like if I publicly say, hey, I'm building this, that I can keep myself to it. And another part is that I genuinely love devlogs, and I think that being able to see something go from concept into system into a playable game is just amazing, and I really wanted to be part of that. And honestly, part of it is that I hope that some of you guys will care about this game. I think Ancelm has something to say, and I want to find the people who feel that too. Well, I'm going to keep you guys updated on Ancelm in the future, but if you want to follow along, then subscribe or drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're curious about. If you're a fan of Hollow Knight or Undertale or Breath of the Wild, tell me what about those games got to you. I think it could really help me with development. This is just the beginning.